Today I wanted to talk about my digital nomad lifestyle, what I miss about it, and actually 5 things that I miss about it that I just can't let go of. I do think that the current global situation made it a little bit more difficult for us to be digital nomads. However, I think that there are certain elements of the overall lifestyle that it has to offer that are very appealing to us. And I want to talk about certain things in this video. Now, I've been a digital nomad in the past. I was very used to moving around. I was very used to exploring new things. And, now with me being in the same place for such a long period of time, it has become increasingly more difficult for me to not get bored, to be happy, and to also reach my fullest potential. Here's why. Before we get started, if you want to stay tuned, if you want to know whenever I upload a new video on how to make money online, on certain aspects of the digital nomad lifestyle, or anything else that I figure out like entrepreneurship, then make sure to subscribe to my channel below. Click that red subscribe button. Also turn on the notification bell. And if you really want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, then click the like button now. The first thing that I really miss about being a digital nomad is just being surrounded by like-minded individuals and how much empowerment, success I am really missing out because I'm not surrounded by anyone right now, at least not that I know of. I'm not surrounded by anyone that would help me to feel better, that would encourage me to do more, or that would simply just listen to certain problems that I have in my business. What's also important is to have a social life, right? One of the main reasons why people become digital nomads is because they like to socialize, they like to nurture each other, and they obviously want to have a certain lifestyle that they can live on a day-to-day basis. I still remember when I was in Thailand and how much I enjoyed going out with other digital nomads and just enjoying a drink every now and then. It was just great, to listen what everyone was doing, what they were working on. Whether they had success or failure was not really that important, but it was more important to gather, to mastermind, to really figure out how to get to the next step, really think about yourself and especially your journey in a way that certain things that happen in your life are not meant to stay. They're not permanent. You can actually evolve. You can actually move on. Those are things that I really miss. Right now where I live in southern Texas, there are no digital nomads here. It's just like people who live here, they don't travel, they've never been abroad, and it's just very difficult for me to integrate with those people because they're so different. There's just not any reciprocity. You know what I mean? You're talking to someone about a subject and one person's not really interested in it, right? There's just not really good synergy going on. And I think the good thing about being a digital nomad is, you can meet like-minded people, you can hang out and stuff like that. But most importantly, I think, is you feel more fulfilled as you talk to people who have the same interests, who are doing the same things. You have so many things in common like work. There's just so much to talk about, and they have the same mindset. They have a mindset of abundance. They want to learn, they want to evolve, they want to grow pretty much. Whereas if you talk to a person that's been in the same place their entire life, they've never been abroad, they've never even tried to learn a new language. But I just found it easier that being a digital nomad and staying in certain places where all those people are hanging out, it was just so much easier for me to just make friends that way because I didn't really have to look for it. That I miss. The second thing I miss about being a digital nomad is learning new languages. I think the more you travel, the more you learn about new cultures, new languages, the more you understand about the planet, the more you understand about how people think. And all of a sudden you feel like, well, I'm not just entitled to my own opinion. There are other opinions out there that are also valid. Just because you think a certain way and you think there's only one way to solve a problem, that doesn't mean that this is the only way on how to do it. There are more ways. And I think what's really interesting is how your mind expands when you're actually able to meet people from different cultures, listen to them, And oftentimes, especially people that I met outside the US, they had to undergo tremendous hardship over their lifetime. If I talk to people, for instance, in Vietnam, they had war all the time. Like the past, whatever, like 50 years or so, they were struggling, really struggling. They had a war. They grew up in poverty. They didn't have a shower. They didn't have whatever. They didn't have a bed to sleep. And just imagine this for a moment. You're not happy with your surroundings. I'm not happy with what I have. Just think about it. If you can see a person who has nothing, in comparison, nothing, because if they don't have a shower, they don't have a bed to sleep in, if they have to live on $200 to $300 a month, yet they manage to be happy, what are you doing? What am I doing? Because those people have very little money, but they manage to be happy. What's the difference? Well, the difference is the attitude, how much you value something. If you only value superficial things like money, you only value like, wow, I want to have the newest sweater, I want to have the newest this, I need to show off. If you put your values on those things, if you start valuing superficial stuff more than just good human qualities, then you're going to end up chasing something that you will just never ever catch, because it's ongoing. You're never going to be happy. Simple things make you happy, like hard work, achievement, or just progress. If those things make you happy, you're going to be happy all the time, because you can really influence it through your own actions. And what I learned and what I really miss about being a digital nomad is integrating in other cultures. I miss it so much that like a part of mine is missing, and I want to eventually go back to that. 3, I really miss being different from other people. Here in the US, I'm just like any other person. I don't really stand out. But if you live abroad, if you live in a foreign country, first of all, you look different, you speak differently, you act differently. Like everything is different. So it's most of the time a lot easier to feel special if you live in an environment that you're not accustomed to. And the same is also for people in those environments who are not accustomed to seeing someone like you, who is just entirely different to them. You know what I mean? So this is another aspect that I really miss, because it just makes you feel a lot more special, than just, okay, he's just another random dude. It's just another whatever dude. Not very impressive. So I kind of like the fact that I stood out a lot more when I was a digital nomad. It was just a lot more fun. Obviously, we take pride in all kinds of things, and I also take pride in certain things. And that's one of the things that I took a lot of pride in, or just a lot of satisfaction in, because it made me feel good. 4, I miss being productive. Now, let me tell you what I mean by this. I think that living in the same place for an extended period of time makes me not creative. It makes me stagnant. It makes me fragmented. Like, I like moving around. I'm not saying I want to be moving around every other week, but I want to be living in different places all the time. For instance, I want to be a resident of 2 to 3 countries, because, I just like to change. Again, this is just for me. For you, it might be like, hey, you know what? I like staying in the same place. I feel comfortable, and I am really productive when I'm comfortable. Now, for me, what I miss about being a digital nomad is just, to really keep my mind occupied. And not only that, but when I was there, I knew exactly like, okay, I'm in a new environment. I have a new project here, or, it was just like a big motivation for me to do more work, because I always had more goals. And here, being in the same place, I just don't function as well as when I was moving more. So that's something I miss about being a digital nomad as well. And 5, I miss organizing events and working with people one-on-one, in person. That's something that has really left me incomplete living in Texas. I just loved it. I know we're going through a very hard time right now. Everyone is, and the world is just not as open as it used to be. But what I really missed is just being able to organize events, just being able to help people. I just miss the feeling. I love the personal touch. I love to be able to go out there, meet people, just talk, transfer skills to other people. I do miss that part a lot. And now everything is done online, and I'm not saying that it's bad. In fact, I love working online, and I want to keep a good amount of my work online, but at the same time, I also want to have more of that human touch. And that's something that has really been missing. It was just great because all those people were so new and didn't really have any idea on how to do it. But the fact that I made a full-time income with it really encouraged them to take the first step. And yeah, I had that online too, and I love talking with people online, but it feels like online it's almost not real. And I know that's kind of like a hard thing to say because I actually have been working online for almost a decade now, and it feels kind of awkward to say because certain people that I've worked with, and I'm still working with them right now, it almost feels like they don't exist because I've never seen them in person, and it feels like I'm never going to see them. Now, when it comes to working with people offline, it's the same thing as when you have a job. You go to your office, you look forward to that because you like certain people, and of course you also don't like other people, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to hang out with the people you like, and you're going to ignore the rest. You're not going to spend much time with them. And it was really great when I was organizing events. I'm doing trainings. It was just fantastic just to have this kind of nice balance, you know what I mean? This nice social balance, which I don't have right now. All right, let me give you some final thoughts now. I think this is really important. Being a digital nomad is not for everyone. But another thing you have to really consider if you have a family, there are many digital nomads that have a family that are happy. You don't have to move from Indonesia to Thailand in whatever 3 weeks time. You don't have to be spending just a week or 2 weeks in a country and move on. You don't have to do that. You can be a digital nomad living in just 2 to 3 places a year. So you can spend half of your time, for instance, in Malaysia, and you can spend the other half, if you live in the US, you can spend the other half in the US. If you live in Australia, spend the other half home, right? So you can be a digital nomad despite being a father, a mother, despite having a family. I mean, you can be a digital nomad if you're single, it doesn't matter, right? But the key is to design your lifestyle so that it fits whatever makes you happy. Every person's different. There's some people that like staying in a place for just a month or two and then they move on. There are other people that need a little bit more stability. They want to be in a place for like half a year. That's perfectly fine. So it's just important to find your own pace, find what you like. This is something that took me a long time to learn, and I now know that I would never want to live in the same place the whole year. It doesn't matter what place it is, because here's what I think. What I have learned. Each place has good sides and bad sides. And no matter where I am, I'm going to miss things about other places because I've been there and I enjoyed the life there. Now, being in the US, if I will not be here for a few months, I'm going to miss certain things. I'm going to miss that I'm able to order anything from Amazon, for instance. I miss being in the same time zone as my clients are located. I'm going to miss all of that. I'm going to miss certain foods. I'm going to miss other things, right? Like in Asia, for instance, I'm going to miss a lot there. I'm going to miss the beaches. I'm going to miss certain people I met. And same holds true also for Europe, I'm going to miss things there. Customize it to your own needs and you're going to be happy. Thank you for watching my video today. If you have any thoughts about being a digital nomad, if there's anything that you would like to add that I forgot to cover in this video, then feel free to do so by leaving a comment below. In case you're not part of my channel yet, please subscribe now. Click that red subscribe button, turn on alerts. And again, if you want to help me out grow my channel, if you want me to have more success on YouTube, hit the like button.